Hitokiri is a hero I've enjoyed since launch. Despite his flaws, I still really like playing him. However, once he was nerfed, rightfully so in my opinion, I didn't think the hero was that fun anymore. But that wasn't just because of the nerfs. I was starting to realize that the character's flow is simply horrendous, and that he feels like a sitting duck more often than not. Hito, to me, feels like a hero that is supposed to be on the offensive often. A hero whose main objective is to get to his chain mix-ups, with only brief pauses of defending in between, only to get back into his chain mix-ups again. This is exactly what the testing grounds did for the hero. Hitokiri felt like a blast to play, and I even gravitated more to him than to Zhanhu, simply because it was something new and exciting for me. It's the same hero that we got in Year 3, but with an actual complete kit, and with the cracks filled up. The newly added side dodge heavy has been a long time coming for the hero. It can properly punish bash based moves and can put the hero back into a strong chain offense, which is exactly what the hero needed in my opinion, as it felt like this was one of his greatest weaknesses. It feels great, although I wish you could target swap it like you can with a lot of other dodge attacks. The improvements to the kick sweep mix-up seem very solid, and you're definitely forced to play Hito's game now, which is great. I've seen discussions go around about the fact that both options guarantee heavy, which I think is fine. I don't see a huge issue with this, to be honest. It does a big chunk of damage, sure, but I don't feel it's undeserved. However, I would not disagree if they were to nerf the damage on the heavy a little bit. You guys know my stance on damage in general. The forward dodge heavy still feels very clunky in my opinion, but the fact you can start your chain off of it feels pretty great. Speaking of the chain, they added hyper armor to the chain heavies, which made me feel like her infinite chain is very similar to Berserker's infinite chain, which is great. It makes me able to stay on the offensive and discourages the original mindless heavy mindset the hero launched with back in Year 3. I'm also fine with the opening heavy not having hyper armor unless he charges the unblockable state for the aforementioned reason. Overall, this character seems like a monster in 1v1s, and an overall better character in general. I will definitely play this hero more once these changes come through the live. Jiang Jun is a hero I play quite often in live. I didn't start playing him when he launched, but he has been one of my favorite heroes for quite some time now. I enjoy his flow, and he's a blast to play once he gets to where he's needed, which are team fights. However, the hero has always lacked a 1v1 presence and is defensively annoying to play against. While I don't think they went all the way, I do think these changes benefit the hero in a lot of positive ways. First off, I think all the damage nerfs, sped up heavies, stamina cost changes, and the ability to get a heavy off of guard break felt great, and I think those were a long time coming. The hitbox changes and the unblockable heavy being soft hit him into a guard break will certainly help as well. These seem like extremely solid quality of life changes for the character. Second, the choke. I personally think this move needs to be completely removed. I just do not see how anyone thinks this move is healthy for the game. It completely stops the fight for a few seconds, drains stamina, and when you finally fall over due to going out of stamina, you lose a huge chunk of your HP bar if the Jiang Jun gets the full punish off. With this testing ground, they certainly made the choke less punishing, yet it still stops the fight and drains quite a bit of stamina. The punishes you get off of it, however, have thankfully been nerfed, and it's nowhere nearly as ridiculous as it is in live. It also still wall splats, but now guarantees a side heavy if you're at a certain distance, which makes the move a bit more niche, but I think that's fine. Regardless, I still would have preferred completely removing the choke, and just making a soul parry punish the zone. Maybe give the zone hyper armor on parry as well, like Griffins? That's something I'll keep up for debate. Like I said earlier, the hero lacked a presence in 1v1s. Therefore, Ubisoft has given him the shin kick as a 500 MS forward dodge bash, removing it as a soft feint from his forward dodge heavy. That forward dodge heavy has also been changed. The new kick is alright, it has a deceptively long range and guarantees a light or a zone, giving you a choice. The kick also no longer wall splats and can be punished on read, as the Jiang Jun can follow up with a neutral light if it whiffs. The forward dodge heavy is now 600 MS and can no longer be soft or hard feinted anymore. It seems that this makes it a good roll cache, which is a good repurpose of the move in my opinion. They also made a zone from Shifu stance unblockable. This one seems simple to me. It makes me able to punish people easier when he successfully dodges their attacks with Shifu and allows them to counterattack more often. It will also greatly help in team fights. Seems like a good change to me. Speaking of Shifu, you can now Shifu cancel the recovery of Jiang Jun's dodge attacks with it, which feels great. However, I do feel like this makes his playstyle, which is already very passive, well, more passive, which I'm not a great fan of, but that's probably just me. Overall, I think these changes make the hero a better team fighter, yet his 1v1 presence is something that's still left to be somewhat desired. Very good changes, however. I hope to see these go into live soon. Aramusha is a character I haven't played since Year 2, and that's mainly due to how boring the hero is. I say that because the character feels like a worse and more limited Berserker, seeing as he has no side dodge attack to deal with bashes, and a good chunk of his kit is locked behind a very scuffed all-guard. With this testing grounds, Aramusha has been given a new side dodge heavy, repurposing the old forward dodge side guard thing that was basically useless. This, in my opinion, is a great thing to add to the character's kit, since he can finally deal with bash offense. They have also repurposed Ring the Bell into a soft feint bash from heavy and forward dodge heavy. No longer applying stun, but instead doing a small amount of damage and allowing him to continue attacking afterwards by leading into his soft feints and other chains. This is a good change, until you realize you can backdodge it on one timing. I hope Ubisoft does something about that. Aramusha can now also recovery cancel into Blade Blockade throughout the entirety of his recoveries, making him basically invulnerable to side dodge attacks that aren't bashes. This sounds way stronger than it is, however, because you can just guard break him on an incorrect read, but I think it will be a significantly stronger tool in teamfights. Not much to say, other than that it looks cool and sounds fun to use. Hopefully they'll fix the bash thing that I mentioned before. Shugoki's testing grounds changes have caused some controversy around the community, and while I personally did not get to play as Shugoki in the testing grounds, I did get to play against him, and so I'm gonna get my 2 cents on it. It's not gonna be much, so strap in. I feel like most of the changes to his hyper armor are justified, well, the one on the light attack anyway, seeing as the light attack was only used to interrupt attack-based offense heroes. I do however disagree with removing it off of the hug, even if they're going to just keep it as a ganking move. The forward dodge heavy has been a long time coming from the Fat Man, and I feel like I don't need to explain why. Moving on, the side dodge bash seems fine to me. I did not enjoy the previous TG's idea of making it drain a shitload of stamina, so I am totally fine with it doing damage similar to Aramusha's new Ring the Bell move. I think this is a good change. His Demon Ball move now guarantees a hug if near a wall, which is very interesting. I don't think I'm too big of a fan personally. Like I said, I did not get to play Shugoki, and honestly from the footage I've seen, he wasn't played much. But I guess the Demon Drift was pretty funny, right? Berserker did not get the attention he deserved, and his changes make him barely any better than he is in live right now. Which means I'm going to keep this very brief. His side and forward dodge lights are now enhanced, and his forward dodge heavy has better tracking. His neutral top light is now 500 ms instead of 600 ms, and that's about it. Oh, and his sprint attack now has extra forward movement. Cool, I guess. Yeah, this character got the short end of the stick for sure. Poor Berserker. Zhanhu is my favorite hero in the game, that's no secret. I have enjoyed this hero ever since his initial release back in November of 2019, and I continue to play him to this day. With this testing grounds, Zhanhu got a big bag of buffs and changes, so let's go over them. The first and most obvious one is the new bash, which is a 500 ms forward dodge bash. I think this move is fine, if not a bit redundant in his kit. Sure, it's a decent 1-for-1 tool, but he already has pretty decent offense with his dodge attacks alone. But sure, this bash is a welcome change if they are so inclined to add it. They slowed down his forward dodge light as compensation, I assume, which feels awful, but doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would. The patch notes stated that his side dodge lights are not only enhanced, but also count as heavy parries now, which seems a bit much to me. I'd rather have them be enhanced than be heavy parries. Also, in the TG, they were still considered light parries, and it felt fine, so keep them enhanced. And light parries, don't make them heavy parries. Thank you. Zhanhu can now recovery cancel his finishes, which feels amazing, and is definitely my favorite change. It makes him super slippery and really lets you dance around opponents, especially in teamfights. Great change overall. They also made his right side heavy finisher hitbox better, which is a good change obviously, and they made his zone 500 ms, which has caused some controversy. I personally think it's fine, but I can see why people have a problem with it, and I really wouldn't be bothered if it went back to 600 ms. His deflect change is pretty great in my opinion. It replaces the original palm strike, which has been repurposed into that bash I mentioned earlier, and now makes his dodge attacks unblockable instead. This is a way better alternative in my opinion, however the damage is a bit high. Speaking of damage, Jesus Christ, this character does a shitload of it, and honestly needs a big fat nerf, especially considering Winner's Advantage exists as well. All in all, I think these changes are amazing, however his damage definitely needs to be taken down a bit, and they could remove the bash if they are so inclined to, but I'm indifferent to it.